I want you to imagine that we're sitting down together at a small table, maybe with coffee, and you've just asked me a very honest question. How do people actually build wealth? Not the Instagram nonsense, not the lottery stories, the real way. That's exactly what this video is about. I'm not here to impress you with fancy words or complicated math. I'm here to explain this in the simplest, most human way possible. Because wealth building is not magic, it's a system. And once you understand the system, it becomes boring, slow, and very powerful. Most people think wealth is about being lucky, being born rich, or having some secret knowledge. That belief alone keeps them poor. The truth is much simpler and much less exciting. Wealth is built in stages, and almost everyone skips the early stages and wonders why nothing works. I learned this the hard way, by making mistakes, wasting time, and believing bad advice. Now, I want to save you that pain. Let's start with a hard truth. If you don't control money, money controls you. Money is like water. If you don't build containers for it, it leaks away. And most people have no containers at all. They just earn, spend, panic, repeat. That cycle never leads anywhere. Wealth only starts when you break that loop and replace it with a system. The system has 3 phases. First, you learn how to bring money in. Second, you learn how to keep money from escaping. Third, you put money to work so it grows without you working harder. Miss any one of these phases and the whole thing collapses. I'll walk you through each one slowly. The first phase is about earning and collecting money. This sounds obvious, but most people never do it strategically. They just take whatever job they can get, complain about pay, and hope something changes. Hope is not a plan. In the modern world, money flows to a value. If you create more value, you earn more money. It really is that simple. This doesn't mean you need to be a genius or invent something crazy. It means you need a skill that people are willing to pay for. Doctors, engineers, programmers, business managers, designers, technicians, and specialists earn more because their skills can solve expensive problems. A waiter works hard, but their skill is easy to replace. A surgeon also works hard, but their skill is rare and valuable. The market pays for rarity and usefulness, not effort. I always tell people this. Your job is not your identity, it's your engine. You don't need to love it forever, but you do need it to fund your future. Choose work that either pays well now or gives you skills that pay well later. If you hate your job, but it pays well and helps you save and invest, that's still progress. If you love your job, but it keeps you broke forever, that's a trap. Now, here's where many people get stuck. They rely on only one source of income. That's dangerous. One job means one point of failure. If the company cuts staff, if the economy slows down, or if you get sick, everything stops. Wealthy people almost never rely on just one stream of money. They add side income, not because they're greedy, but because they're smart. Side income doesn't mean quitting your job or starting some risky business overnight. It can be freelance work, online services, teaching, consulting, selling digital products, or managing a small projects. And the goal is not to work yourself to death. The goal is to slowly move from trading time for money to creating value that can scale. When income can grow without you working extra hours, you've unlocked a new level. Technology, especially artificial intelligence, has made this easier than ever. Tools now help you write faster, design faster, analyze faster, and automate boring work. That means one person can do what used to require a whole team. If you use these tools, you increase your earning power. If you ignore them, you fall behind. This isn't about being a tech expert. It's about being open to learning tools that save time and increase output. But here's the mistake people make. They earn more money and then they immediately upgrade their lifestyle. Bigger phone, better car, more subscriptions, more eating out. They feel rich, but stay broke. This is where phase 2 begins, and this phase is where most people fail. Phase 2 is about keeping money. I call this the boring phase, but it's the most important one. You cannot build wealth if money leaks out as fast as it comes in. Imagine trying to fill a bucket with holes in it. That's what most people are doing with their income. You need rules for your money. Without rules, emotions take over. The simplest rule is dividing your income into needs, wants, and future. Needs are things like rent, food, utilities, and basic transportation. Wants are things you enjoy but don't need to survive. Future is money you save, invest, or use to kill debt. A simple rule many people use is spending about half your income on needs, some on wants, and always setting aside a portion for your future. The exact numbers don't matter as much as the habit. The key idea is this: pay yourself first. If you wait until the end of the month to save, there will be nothing left. If you save first, you'll automatically adjust your lifestyle. Debt is another silent killer. Not all debt is evil, but bad debt is poison. Credit card debt, high interest personal loans, and unnecessary borrowing destroy wealth because they work against compounding. When you pay high interest, you're compounding losses instead of gains. You can't out-invest bad debt. Well, it drags you down no matter how smart you think you are. The goal is to eliminate high interest debt as soon as possible. Some people like paying off small debts first to feel progress. Others prefer killing the highest interest debt first to save money. Either way is fine. What matters is consistency. Debt keeps you stressed, reactive, and stuck. Freedom starts when debt loses its grip on you. Another critical piece of phase 2 is having emergency money. Life will hit you. Car breaks down. Medical issue. Job a problem. Without emergency savings, or you'll be forced to borrow or sell investments at the worst time. That sets you back years. Emergency money is not an investment. It's insurance for your future self. This phase also requires a mindset shift. You must learn to delay gratification. That doesn't mean living miserably. It means choosing long-term freedom over short-term pleasure. Every dollar you don't waste today becomes a worker for you tomorrow. Poor people buy things to look rich. Wealthy people delay spending so they can actually become rich. Once you earn well and keep what you earn, you reach phase 3. This is when money starts working for you. This is the phase most people want to jump into first, and that's why they fail. Investing without income and discipline is gambling. Investing with structure is powerful. At its core, investing is simple. You put money into assets that grow over time. Stocks, businesses, real estate, and funds are common examples. The stock market, despite all the noise, has grown over long periods of time. Short-term movements are chaotic, but long-term trends reward patience. Compounding is the real magic here. When your money earns returns and those returns earn returns, growth accelerates. At first, it feels slow and boring. Then one day, it feels unfairly fast. Time is the most important ingredient. The earlier you start, the less effort you need. Some people go deeper and learn how to actively trade or analyze markets. That's fine, but it requires discipline and risk control. The market doesn't care about your feelings. If you risk too much on one decision, you can wipe yourself out. Professionals survive because they manage risk first and returns second. Risk management means never risking money you can't afford to lose, never putting everything into one idea, and always knowing your limits before entering a trade or investment. This keeps you alive in the game long enough for compounding to do its work. Now, let me be very clear. You do not need to be a trading genius to build wealth. Most people are better off investing steadily, staying diversified, and letting time work. The goal is not excitement. The goal is freedom. Boring strategies often win because they remove emotion from decisions. Eventually, if you follow these phases long enough, something interesting happens. Money stops being stressful. Bills stop being scary. Choices become easier. You gain options. That's what wealth really is. Options. The ability to say no. The ability to help others. The ability to think long-term instead of surviving month to month. True wealth is not about showing off. It's about stability across generations. Teaching your children how money works. Passing down assets, not problems. Leaving behind systems, not chaos. Most wealth is lost within a few generations because people pass down money, but not knowledge. The real inheritance is understanding. If you remember anything from this video, remember this. Wealth is built slowly, intentionally, and quietly. There is no shortcut that lasts. Anyone promising fast riches is selling a fantasy. The real path looks boring from the outside, but it leads to peace on the inside. I didn't say this to make you rich overnight. I wrote it to give you a map. If you follow the map step by step, you won't feel lost anymore. And once you're no longer lost, progress becomes inevitable. If you love me yapping through the mic about financial planning, trading, and crypto, which I might make the video in the future, push that subscribe button and give me your thought about your financial situation that you can share with others. It would be beneficial. Until next time.